You've probably heard this a lot over the past few days, and you're gonna hear it a lot more after. And now you're gonna hear it from me. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is a certified banger. I totally understand the skepticism that comes with the movie, considering it's made by the company who has made it a point to give the safest, most corporately sanitized animated films in the history of cinema. So I don't know if this was the directors being passionate, or Nintendo breathing down their necks, or maybe even a combination of both, but this movie is officially the greatest movie in Illumination's catalog. I know that doesn't sound impressive, but trust me, it's good. So you've seen the story from the trailers. Mario and Luigi are plumbers who get sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom, becoming separated from one another. With Luigi in Bowser's clutches, it's up to Mario to work with Princess Peach to save him. First things first, I know what all of you are thinking out there. Yes, even you. Is Chris Pratt a solid Mario? Yes. The answer is yes. First off, he's incredibly capable of doing the actual Mario voice from the games. The commercial at the beginning of the movie proves that. But in terms of sounding like Mario period, he's got it. He nails the Brooklyn accent down pat. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I prefer the route that they took here. If Mario had been doing the funny, goofy wahoo voice, then a lot of the more serious moments would have felt too goofy. Now outside of Chris Pratt, how does the rest of the cast fare? My guy, you couldn't have gotten two better actors for Luigi and Bowser than Charlie Day and Jack Black. Charlie Day absolutely nails the voice for Luigi, the cowardice, the love. It's almost difficult to put into words how perfectly he fits. So we're just gonna move on to Bowser. Jack Black as Bowser freaking ruled. Two big personalities collide here, as Jack's natural manic energy that you get from characters like Poe or Nacho fits perfectly with Bowser. But he still manages to keep an air of menace despite having his goofier moments. Oh, and by the way, Bowser gets a musical number. And Jack goes in on the vocals, it's really freaking good. Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach, Keegan-Michael Kay as Toad, even Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong were all really good. Their voices fit naturally, their performances are spot on, and their dialogue was awesome. I also love the characterizations. Princess Peach being a take no prisoners type of gal who wants to protect the people who raised her from birth is great. I know a few people out there were worried that she'd be an abrasive type who would deride Mario for being an idiot for not getting what she got immediately. But that's not the case. She's a really sweet, compelling character. She cares not only about her people, but also this newcomer and his brother. And the decision to make Luigi the quote-unquote damsel in distress instead of her was absolutely brilliant. It gives Mario something personal to fight for rather than wanting to save a princess he's never met, while also giving Mario a proper mentor as to what goes on into the Mushroom Kingdom. I love Toad here. Just a brave little explorer guy who wants to do his best to serve the princess of his kingdom and save the brother of his new best buddy. They do a great job of differentiating him from the other Toads too. By the way, as a quick way of easing your stresses, no, they do not give the Toads the Minions treatment. Neither do Bowser's minions. Donkey Kong is a bit of a complicated one. He has an ego, which is honestly the best addition to his character. I love the idea that he's a big ass showboat who is very confident in both himself and his ability. The problem, and this is indicative of the one problem that I have with the movie, is that they attempt to give him more depth without actually exploring said depth. They try to make him out to be a well done son type of guy who is trying to prove to his dad that he's more than just a guy who smashes stuff. Except hardly anything in the movie ever shows that outside of the one scene where he blows up about it towards Mario. It's clear that they wanted to make DK a more nuanced character, but either didn't have the time or just plain didn't know how else to do it. By the way, before I move on, I just want to say that Lumalee is the cutest, most disturbing little shit. They're so adorable the way they smile and talk about all these types of disturbing things with a cute little voice. But now we move on to the animation. The designs, the set pieces, the locales, they're all stellar. Everything from Brooklyn to Bowser's Castle to the Mushroom Kingdom is beautifully rendered. It's also jam-packed with Easter eggs and references to other Mario and Nintendo media. Whether that's a good thing or not depends on the viewer. Me as a Nintendo fan, I love it, but I can see where the addition of these things might come across as grating or even distracting. Back to the topic of set pieces, I think my favorite location has to be Kong Island, or whatever they call it in the movie. Either way, I love the aesthetics of the Kong's Land. And I love all the Kongs, not just DK. Cranky is hilarious, though admittedly his voice felt weirdly unfitting. He's probably the one part of the cast that I thought was weird. I don't know if it's the voice or the delivery, but something about him definitely felt off. The application of power-ups could be a subject for debate, but I really enjoyed it. It was great seeing some of Mario's most iconic power-ups come to life, like the Fire Flower, Cat Mario, and especially the Superstar at the end. It sounds like I have nothing but nice things to say about the Mario movie, but I do have some legitimate grievances. First off, Mario and Luigi's dynamic is so goddamn wholesome and sweet, which means it's a shame that they spend a majority of the movie separated from each other, with Luigi being held hostage and Mario having to save him. When they get back together towards the end, it's such a delight to see them together. As well as in the beginning when Mario is quick to throw hands with Spike the Foreman when he talks nasty to his brother. It really is a disappointment we never got as much time with the two of them together. We don't really get much of Luigi period compared to Mario. Now granted, this is understandable, since this time Luigi is the one that needs saving, but for how perfect Charlie Day is able to capture Luigi, I would have loved to see more of him. One other problem I have with the movie, again as indicated by DK's implied deaths, is that the pacing is really fast. We're jumping from story beat to story beat, location to location, character to character. Now that's not a bad thing, the movie is trying to show you as much as it can in a limited runtime. But at the same time, that leaves less time for characters to feel developed, and even less time for other characters period. Spike the Foreman is a minor character to be sure, but as the Mario Brothers' former boss, you'd think we'd see more of him around at the beginning. The same goes for the Mario Brothers family. I wish he got to spend more time with them before we got to the Mushroom Kingdom. Another example is when Peach sees Mario for the first time. She's shocked at seeing someone like her, another human, but they hardly take any time to dwell on her shock as they immediately go into the fact that Luigi is in trouble. One last example, Peach's backstory, which while admittedly really sweet, also gets kinda rushed. We get an acknowledgement that she could have come from Mario's world, but then it's quickly brushed off and then we're on to the next scene. All in all, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is an excellent film. It's this close to being perfect with its glorious characterizations, stellar casting, and beautiful animation, but the pacing of the film drags it down a bit. Honestly, the film could have benefited from an extra 10 minutes. This movie does have people wondering though, what does this mean for the future of Illumination? Is this the start of a new golden age for them? Or was this movie only good because Nintendo wasn't going to allow them to make it bad? Well, based on the trailer for Migration, which to be honest is the worst trailer Illumination has ever put out, how do you go from giving away the whole movie to barely showing anything? I think they have a bright future. A story about a family of ducks going on vacation, starring Danny DeVito, Elizabeth Banks, and Keegan-Michael Kay? I'm down for it. Hopefully this means Illumination will start producing banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. I miss talking about wrestling. I'm the critical nerd, but you can call me Crit.